Peace. And habit now. Now it's a vibrate, of course. Not going too far in the future. Not going too far in the past. Right now. Right now, I want to speak to a certain dynamic between the male and the female. Matter of fact, somewhat of, quote unquote, sex talk. Matter of fact, showing how, again, with the sexual nature, how it's our true nature, and we're so interested. Matter of fact, when the subject of sex come up, it's like, ooh, we chimed in, we trying to listen, but at the same time suppressing it like it shouldn't exist. It's like, what are we doing here? But anyway, want to speak to the dynamic of, the male admiring the female's body. Of course, the female body, as above, so below. Our bodies is an exact representation of, of certain energies. Whether you have like the female's breasts, and her ass, for lack of a better word, buttocks, whatever. It is ass, buttocks, the two round things. But the ass and the breast area, in essence, it represents. I did a video about this a while back, like how it represents the toroidal field. You know what I'm saying? And a male's whole addiction, in essence, to sex, or just or just that vibe of like just strongly being into a woman. It comes from being into a Taurus field, because as a soul, what we looking for as a soul, we looking to make our plasma field big, to grow our plasma field. Our plasma field shaped like a Taurus field. It's like a little, like how when water goes down the drain, like a little tornado, we got that at the top and then coming out the bottom, but also kind of shapes like, two round circles, you know what I'm saying, in essence. And because we deal with geometry on a certain level of like perfection. So a circle is like a perfect circle. So when we see perfect circles, we intrigue, because our soul is intrigued, you know what I'm saying, by the essence of seeing a certain vibration of something our soul dealt with from before we even had human bodies. Angles, or should I say wavelengths, and curves exist. You know what I'm saying? What a vibration is but a curve. And what we talk about a female, she got the curve, the curves, that energy, you know what I'm saying? But as males though, we gotta get to a place where we're not looking at the female body, looking at it like it's just some piece of property, like it's just a piece of meat. A lot of us still dealing with the female energy from that aspect, and it's time to move away. Or in essence, a lot of us are cleaning it up, and we all just try and find, more soulful way for dealing with sex, and dealing with, that exchange of energy, between the masculine, feminine energy, just looking to do it from, a more high vibrational standpoint, not so much with our lower nature, the way we used to just like, just view it as a, each other, whether male or female, as a piece of meat just to get used for sex, moving away from that. And also, like, I think about the thoughts, like, clearing up the thoughts. So sometimes like a female might pass. Now I look, because my thing is, I'm comfortable as long as I know that I'm not I think the word is being subjective, but like basically looking at the body as a piece of meat. But like, they got a woman pass by and she may have a big ass, so to speak, or nice sized breasts, and don't forget too, it also shaped with the pyramids as well, and the hips, like you look at how a pyramid, the point at the top small and then it goes down, kind of like the woman body, pyramids down. But anyway, you know, it comes a point when, you know, a woman nice shape pass, and I'll take a look, but in that look, you know, what I do is I be like, for sure, I refer to, you know, as the temple. I'm like, you know, that what did I say? I forgot how I say, like, that queen, you know, that sister temple is very beautiful, you know what I'm saying? And I'm pretty sure the energy inside of it accompanies the beautiful, you know, the beautiful physical part. But in some way, form, or fashion, I always acknowledge the soul with the body, you know what I'm saying? And that's something that, you know, if we're new to being respectful to the feminine energy, that's something as a male that you might want to work into, you know, work into your wiring, so to speak. You know, I ain't even gonna say your thought process, because this is, you know, it's more than just thoughts. You know, it's your feelings, you know, emotions, and everything. You know, wiring, all this. You know, but definitely, again, because just like on the telepathy as well. You know, like, too, you sitting there and you looking at, like, look at her body, and say, for instance, you didn't know that lady or that female you was looking at, you know, you didn't know that she was gonna end up coming, walk up and talk to you. And then now she come and walk up and talk to you. Which was funny, women being psychic and not knowing it, you know, she's picking up on your nature of looking at her as a piece of meat. And she probably, you know, not knowing, like, wonder why I'm getting these thoughts, you know, not knowing where she's getting these thoughts from, but she's getting them thoughts from feeling the vibe from you having those thoughts of looking at her like a piece of meat, you know what I'm saying? So that's something to think about, you know, because we move into a place too where we're gonna be so tapped into where, you know, you won't be able to be misleading with that vibration anyway, you know. But it's definitely something that could be felt, you know, and we want to have more reverence and respect for, you know, for the female nature, the female essence, you know, the body, you know, because it's more than just a body, you know. And if you are looking at the body, then, you know, give it that godly respect, you know what I'm saying? Give it that godly reverence, you know, that goes past just being a fleshy piece of meat, you know what I'm saying? Because, I mean, if we, you know, male or female, look at each other as just, you know, pieces of meat, which in essence, that's why, you know, they do exist, the fleshlight, or they do exist, dildos, you know what I'm saying? Because in essence, you know, it's like sex could become just, you know, just a physical thing, like not taking each other to the next level or not connecting spiritually, just like bang, 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 bang. Oh, that felt good. Now let's go about our way. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's moving away from, you know, away from that vibe. And again, I want to bring just more reverence, more of a higher vibration to that situation. Because again, nothing is wrong with sex, you know. Again, the Kundalini energy is tied to sex, and sexual energy does a lot of healing, you know. And like I speak on, you know, what this is me, the way I feel, like us being duped into being scared of sex, you know, because again, there's a lot of healing that comes out of the sexual vibes, you know. And I feel like whenever we're running from it, we're kind of depriving ourselves of being, to a certain extent, you know, having a certain level of completeness. And that is not to say that you cannot be complete without sex, because we all different anyway, you know what I'm saying? What may feel like, oh, if I, you know, what may feel, let's get this straight, we are complete in our being, just in essence, you know what I'm saying? But there also is that full completeness by, you know, having that masculine or feminine counterpart to really complete the situation. But you know, again, I just feel like sex is something that we shouldn't run from or shouldn't, you know, hide from. Or that's what I was gonna speak to. Like, I've been, you know, dealing with being vamped. What this being vamped, I mean, when you really look at being vamped by myself, because everything outside of me is a projection of my thoughts. So I done been vamped by all these other situations, but I dodge sex like it is the, like, you know, like it's just that vamping is just so, or like it's gonna be so much of a vamp, and it's almost like sex gets that vibe like a Mercury retrograde gets to a certain extent, like it's like, oh, bad, and I don't know, we overly vilify, sex in that area of exchanging energies, in that area of like being vamped by energies and exchanging energies. I feel like it's over villainified, if that's the word. But of course, again, I'm not saying that to not say we should be aware of who we dealing with on a sexual level, all that. And matter of fact, spoke, on how I feel on that level, one of the older videos. But again, it's just get more comfortable within sex, because I mean, again, it ain't even about penetration, just the sexual energy, like to just be able to lay down and rub and touch on, explore each other's bodies, you know what I'm saying? Like it is really getting sensual on that level. But I digress. But again, back to just the dynamic of being a male, and dealing with the female body, just have reverence, and two, on the aspect, because maybe like there's some, how can I say, some consensus out there that may feel like, like you shouldn't look at the woman's body at all, like on a sexual level, or you shouldn't, and that, to each his own on how you feel about that. But just from my godly perspective, like ain't nothing wrong with that. Again, the female body, in essence mimics all the divine thing, and just like a temple, like you ever walked up on a cathedral or a temple or a certain place and you're like, damn man, that building looks amazing, and that doesn't mean that that building is just a building, just because you're looking at the physical aspect of the building. A building could look beautiful, like a temple could look beautiful. I could walk up to a building and be like, damn, the way that curve on the side of that building, man, that's so smooth and beautiful. And the way the two dome type structures at the top, poke out, man, that's beautiful. You know what I'm saying? Compared to like, looking at it, well, you're looking at the physical nature of it, but then that's just it. Like you're not even seeing the deeper essence and beauty of it. You know what I'm saying? And as far as, again, on the analogy of the female body, but again, it embodies, sacred geometry. Matter of fact, like as above, so below, just like they build the pyramids to have all these sacred energies and measurements, in essence, that's within the female construct of her body. So that's why, again, why we like the way her ass look, or why we like the way breasts look, you know what I'm saying? Like, especially when, and two, we're even more attracted to them. That's why, like, and again, you would think that that's some type of male sexual aspect of like, oh, female gotta have big ass and big titties. That's not so much. Again, indirectly, what we don't realize, our God nature pokes through, even if we would try to turn it into a material thing. But like, say for instance, we're into that vibe because it embodies sacred geometry. Like, say for instance, when you see somebody draw a little dingy circle, it's like, or a small circle's harder to see, but speaking of just the way it's shaped, in essence, like, or somebody draws a crooked triangle, like we be thrown off by, but when we see that perfect circle, that perfect triangle, that perfect square, that's all that is. Same thing with music. Reason why we like a musician who plays, an instrument very well, because it mimics our chakras being played perfectly. Our chakras, each chakra gives off a different, vibration, musical vibration. So when we see that in the essence of music, that's what we seeing. Like, we seeing like that instrument is almost like playing our body, perfectly, like hitting all those perfect notes, because that's balance, hitting the notes perfectly. You know, and the same thing with the body, you know. So it's just finding that balance of getting out of the place of looking at the female body, like, you know, like really have reverence for the soul, like, I mean, and clean it up as much as possible when you do, again, have those little quick little moments of, you know, because again, I catch myself where, like, I had a situation and I had to deal with, and I got to speak on this because a lot of us, this is one of those things where nobody else is going to do a video on this, you know what I'm saying? So it's like, why, you know, that's what in essence what I exist for on a YouTube level, is to talk about some of these subjects that's not really going to get touched on by everybody else, because you know, just face it, you know, a lot of other people going to make sure they're on the mainstream spiritual vibes, you know, and nothing, not trying to knock nobody or none of that. We all different on how we vibe. Sometimes I'm vibing on that level too, but anyway, what I was about to speak to, see how to talk myself away. I was just speaking to the social dynamic. I'll get back to it. But just again, to repeat, and then I'll get back into where I was with the vibration of respect towards it, but at the same time understanding that, again, we so into the body, you know, on that level because it mimics, you know, the sacred geometry. But to look at something as a piece of meat, again, you might as well have your blow up doll, you know, in which that's why some humans do, and why a lot of, you know, and why, you know, these things are being promoted, because they're trying to just, again, you know, they done gave y'all a heads up on the movies. They was testing y'all subconscious with movies like Surrogate and all that, where the people just, basically the human self stay inside and they got like a robot that does everything for them, you know. But it's like, on the sexual level, it's like, if you're gonna look at it as just a piece of meat on either side of the situation, then, you know, you might as well just stay to yourself, or find a little hole in the wall or a little pole on the wall. You know, it is what it is, and, you know, and have at it, you know, because that's basically all you looking for in a, you know, in a sexual exchange, you know, is just to get your rocks off, so to speak. But definitely want to take it into a more divine place. But I think that's it, you know, just with the males, you know, us cleaning up the vibes. Now, that's what I think I was speaking to, like, my own self having, like, you know, those thoughts and having to clean them up, you know. And that vibe, like, you know, a woman passed and I could tell she's gonna have a, you know, big ass. I don't mean that in those, and like, I try not to look, and it be a balance, because then it's like, all right, am I being too, you know, unmasculine, you know what I'm saying, by not looking, you know what I'm saying? Like, it comes that little dilemma, and I just done came to a point where it's like, I follow my heart, you know. I could feel like, all right, nah, you just trying to, you know, look too hard, you know, like that. Put it like this, that's the lower you trying to get into the driver's seat, or, you know, or it's just, you know, the balance of both. Like, you know, you have a certain reverence for sacred geometry, and this woman that passed just displayed you know, she was like a perfect model of sacred geometry. You know, you just had to look at it, you know. Kind of like that, a car that passed and stuff like that, you know what I'm saying? Again, these are vehicles. But but some people look at their car as just some, shit, just to, you know, just to drive or whatever. And then some people like, oh man, I gotta take care of my baby, you know what I'm saying, inside and out. It's that part, like making sure you really, you know, having that vibe. So again, like, when I come across this little random vibes, and you know, I just always keep like cleaning it up, like, oh man, like, I'm trying to think of certain situations other than, you know, just that one. But just whatever the case may be, I always clean it up and be like, I admire the temple. Blessings to the soul, blessings to the soul that occupies that temple. Now, in fact, I say that sometimes, like just like to make sure, like I'm like blessings to the wholeness of that being, not just the physical aspect. You know what I'm saying? Like, I just say that, like I have reverence for her whole being, not just the aspect that I'm admiring from a physical standpoint. These are things we have to talk about because it's things we're going through and will go through. You know what I'm saying? Because here it is, we won't learn how to handle ourselves on this level if all of us keep making it an elephant in the room type of subject matter where none of us talk about it. It has to be talked about. As a matter of fact, speaking of this, I just talked about the smoky quartz dealing with the sexual energy. Whether you male or female, but like dealing with the smoky quartz, have the point pointed down, and this could bring some high vibrations into the lower chakras. So if you are a little bit too animalistic in your lower chakra behavior, you could bring some light into those lower chakras, and you could either do this again, like laying down on your back and having this crystal laying on your, whether it could be anywhere from your throat to your navel area. Me personally, I would probably have it like right at the heart chakra area, and lay on your back and envision the high vibrations integrating into the lower chakras, and that'll help bring some light into your sexual energy. You know what I'm saying? So you could really, know and feel the fullness of the sexual energy. Because for myself, like me wanting to deal with sex right now, it's of course it's a part of the flesh, but like I think back to where I have to. It comes a point where you gotta stop feeling guilty or feeling like you got a vibe that you're not about. You know what I'm saying? I'm not about having sex just to have sex. So because sometimes we'll have a guilt about like, well, maybe I shouldn't, because maybe I am looking at it just for sex, and it's like, no, I'm not, because I look at the vibe of like when I say, for instance, when I was out here having sex in the days when in essence sex was just supposed to be sex. I was indirect, like low key, I was still having soulful sex, like low key. That's why, like, I wouldn't. And of course, they had the times where I was just looking to, have an orgasm, of course. But then a lot of times, I was making sure I was dealing with a female that I could fully express myself sexually, but which in most cases that mean that I could fully, in essence, please her. Like, so it wasn't just, no, let me get my, my orgasm, let me get my nut. It was like, no, let me please, this female, and that's from oral to everything, you know what I'm saying? Like, the whole nine, like, foreplay, all that. But, back in those times, you couldn't go all out for, just the reality of the situation for, sexual partners that you picked out just to get an orgasm, you know what I'm saying? You might not want to take it that far with those parts, not speaking of now past situations, but you might not want to take it to that level. So, but even again, looking at back in those days, like, that's why I would kind of make sure, I did have, a partner that I could really, vibe with on that level. Because in most cases, and it's not nothing to brag, but like a lot of times where I would get the vibe of like being told, and matter of fact, is this my ego? No, it's not. All right, but just sharing, you know what I'm saying? Because it is a reality. But like females having some of their best orgasms dealing with me because of the soul energy I was putting into. You know what I'm saying? Like, not because I was just like poof 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 poof. Oh, you like that mountain? You know what I'm saying? Like, it wasn't like no not the piece of meat pounding vibe. Is the connection. You know what I'm saying? It was like, before even visualizations, like I would be closing my eyes and just be indulged in the the being and the feeling of it, you know what I'm saying? Like it was much more than just being with a body for me, you know. And I guess too, that's like my little cry in essence. It's like, come on, source, you know how genuine I am about this situation, but yet it's still not manifest. So a lot of the vibes with that when I go on my little rants about having sex, you know, but it it's all a lot of it be fun and games for me, especially like when I you know, did like one of those posts on Instagram, like wow, this and that. It's like I'm fun and games with it, you know. I'm consoled with my higher self. I know what's up. I know what time it is and how I need to move and you know what I need to change and how I need to operate. But I digress. Enough about me. But you know, just definitely with that vibe, being respectful over the temple, but at the same time, again realizing that you know it was the Catholic Church, man, like, and that's the religion that governs, you know, most of everything from, you know, from school systems, all that, you know what I'm saying? When I think to my daddy talking about you know, back in the day they little dances at, you know, we went to Catholic school. Matter of fact, one of the you know, biggest black Catholic, Roman Catholic schools and churches in the South. But like where the nuns would walk around with the ruler to make sure they were so many, you know, feet apart from each other dancing and all this. And here it is, they making sure this happened, and these is the same people that's gonna have in order to continue, you know, having humans on this planet. You know, these people that you making sure don't have sex is gonna have sex at some point. It's like, oh no, but they gotta have sex at this certain time. Let it be natural. But yeah, it's not about, you know, in essence criminalizing sex or making sex or demonizing sex, I should say, and making it seem like it's such a bad thing. That's the trick to the game too, where, you know, the Catholic religion, the, you know, that Knights Templar, Freemason, all that's in cahoots together. So in one area they're gonna tell you not to do this while they work on it. So they're gonna tell you, oh, that shit the devil, while they studying the fuck out of astrology. You know what I'm saying? While they basically they don't even take a step out their door without dealing with astrology. But then at the same time got a part of their establishment that try to scare you away from it because they don't want you using, you know, that energy. Same thing with the, you know, with the sex magic too, the Aleister Crowley, like his image, you know, especially as a melanated person, you're gonna like, oh, Aleister Crowley, you sick, and you're gonna be scared to go read up on his work and see what was, you know, really going on in essence, you know, which a lot of his stuff was I mean, to a certain extent he was trolling, but he does have like some little work that you could you know, use on a beneficial level. And but yeah, just with that sex magic vibe, you know what I'm saying? Using the orgasms to manifest, you know, in which it could be, I mean, just off of the strength, you know, orgasm does have strength. So you could do sex magic by yourself in essence, you know what I'm saying, on a masturbating vibe. But it's not as strong, you know, is that connection. As a matter of fact, even down to beings, you know, what casual sex could be about that, casual manifestation sex, you know what I'm saying? Like, you know, like some casual manifestation sex between, you know, souls with benefit. You know, we come together to manifest, and we could vibe like that. I'm just, ideas is just popping out of my head. But anyway, you know, the whole vibe is like, of course your orgasm, because say for instance, like we're creating sigils, like when you create a sigil, in essence, you know, which I didn't say that in my sigil video that I made, but it would be more fitting for you to have a, like, so as you're looking at your sigil, you want to create like some type of energy, like an orgasm, you know what I'm saying, like just a extremely blissful, like, you know, feel good vibe, you know, so it could really be, you know, that energy could really be intense and stained, or given such a heightened energy, you know. I think on my video with speaking with the sigil, I talk about like you know, you look at the sigil while coming out of a stretch, like you go into a hard strenuous stretch, and then you know how you come out of stretching like, man, like that felt good, you know what I'm saying? And be looking at your sigil while you're doing it to give it some strength and power to its energy. So that's the same thing with the sex, you know, as the orgasm creates, you know, a little strength behind behind the words and intention, you know. But again, you know, when it's both masculine and feminine energies coming together, is way more stronger. And just to keep it real, because I'm getting to that place with no elephants in the room. It is what it is, you know. With the sexual vibes for people that's dealing with, you know, same sex. I mean, in essence, because it is two orgasms at the same time, you know, it's gonna have strength, but you know, the strongest connection on a manifestation level is, you know, the masculine and feminine connection. And I spoke to this a while back, like this little joke in my in one of the videos, I think the one about fetal estrogen. But like, you know, don't forget though, to all my homosexual people, you know, that deal with that vibe, don't forget that you're here because the masculine and feminine energies came together. So you wouldn't be able to be gay or homosexual right now if, you know, sex wouldn't be able to, you know, masculine and feminine energies didn't create on that level, you know what I'm saying? So I feel you as much as you wanna, and that's where, you know, you're being in your ego. Like, you should, that message should not make you feel in that kind of way, because that's the truth. That's what it really is, you know what I'm saying? Like, and I didn't mean it or say it in a derogatory way, you know. It's just the reality of the situation. Those energies gotta come, you know, the aspect of your imagination, the unseen aspect of yourself. So, you know, the feminine aspect of your thoughts, you know, subconscious energy, you know, your emotions, you know, energies that, you know, again, that move on the unseen level. And that goes into, you know, the masculine part of manifestation, the actions you take, and, you know, and what you're taking care of on a physical level. And both the feminine and masculine aspect of what you're doing manifests into something physical. You know, those two energies manifest on all levels. That's about it. I digress. I know I brought this up before, but again, working with Snowflake, Obsidian, and Carnelian for getting over sexual repression, but also smoky quartz in there as well. Smoky quartz is good for clearing sexual, so smoky quartz, Snowflake, Obsidian, and Carnelian. But definitely smoky quartz for, you know, working the energies in the sacral chakra area, cutting cards, sacral and root, but I always just speak to, you know, that sacral, you know, the female area too, because the female sexual energy is a little bit it's higher vibrational than male's energy, because the male energy is in the root chakra, the female energy is in the sacral, which is one up, so it vibrates at a high frequency. You know, don't forget that, like literally, like down to the color red vibrates at a lower frequency than orange, and so does the, you know, the root chakra compared to the sacral chakra, you know. And the musical note that comes from the root chakra is at a lower vibration than the one at the high chakra, you know. Back to the thing about, matter of fact, kind of speaking into sex in the base chakra, but like, hey, Barry White, baby, practice what you preach. You know, that voice, that bass, you know. And the etymology is no coincidence that, you know, we talk about bass, having the bass, boom, boom. And, you know, to have that noise is basically is a slow moving noise. Bass is not no high pitched noise that could break glass. Bass moves slow, you know, slow. So you see why Barry White was able to warrant that sexual energy, you know, out of the females and just in general, because, you know, his voice was from the vibration of the root chakra, you know. So it really deals with that energy. But I digress. Let's make sure we're being respectful about gazing at each other's temple. That's the end of the moral to the story is have reverence for the temple, but at the same time, don't be ashamed of sex, you know, ashamed that you have these sexual thoughts, urges, and all this. Just bring it to a high vibrational place, you know. Bring some, matter of fact, again, bring some light, you know, let the high vibrational light go into the lower chakras, you know. But nothing is wrong with sex. away from that vibe. And nothing is wrong with celibacy either. You know, you cleaning out things, making sure things straight. But just realize, you know, again, it's a balance, and it's all how you want to balance it. And with a scale, you know, of course, you know, we could balance in the middle as much, but on a realistic level, our balance is gonna just always kind of somewhat teeter. You know, we're gonna be on, you know, could keep the energy on the celibate side and connect, or you could keep it on the sexual side and get a connection. You know, it's, I don't know what's right for the time and everything for you. That's it. Matter of fact, if you like the videos, make sure, matter of fact, you like and subscribe to the channel. Make sure, matter of fact, if you think these videos will resonate with others too, importantly, you know, share the videos on other social media platforms or whatever. Feel free. Matter of fact, and I never spoke to this before, but even down to the musicians, man, if you want to sample any of my videos, you know, feel free. Of course, you know, wouldn't be taking the whole video. We'll have to deal, you know, don't want that vibe, of course. But even with that, you know, I still, as I said, I think that was more of my ego speaking. Like, you know, at the end of the day, I'm gonna get compensated for what I deserve to get compensated for. But you know, that vibe. And then also, if you appreciate the information and resonate, or you know, beneficial to you in any way, form, or fashion, you know, any and all donations is greatly appreciated. The link is in the bottom of mostly all my videos. You know, PayPal, Epic Lifestyles, and also have the link, if you're doing it from a desktop, have the link will be in your top right corner. You know, around the where they have links to my Instagram, Twitter, and other things as well. All the love and support is greatly appreciated, you know, whether you donate or not, you know, because, I mean, just the energy of you watching, you know, bring some type of revenue into the situation through YouTube. So, universe telling me to cut it short. All right. Peace, y'all. Happy now. Now is the vibrate again. Not too far in the future. Not too far in the past.